You're listening to the Dibbly Dobbly Podcast. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and click the bell to make sure you get the latest episodes of the podcast. Be sure to like and share our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. Moving on to Group D, the last of the groups, Group D of our preview of the 4 member nations, which includes South Africa, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh. Now, first of all, let's have a look at South Africa and talk about them. Captain Aiden Markram, they haven't won a T20 World Cup title as yet. T20 World Cup in 2022, they finished in the Super 12 stage. And for South Africa, will 2024 be the year that South Africa win a World Cup in any format? That's the big question that everyone is asking. Or will it be another disappointing T20 World Cup or a World Cup campaign from South Africa? That's the other question as well. So South Africa, we all know the history of South Africa and World Cups. Can they break the narrative? Can they finally win a tournament? Can they play to their potential? Can they do it? That's the question. And they've got a pretty good squad. You know, you look at their squad, it's pretty strong. Their batting's quite destructive. Heinrich Klaassen had a great IPL this year for the Sunrisers Hyderabad. We know what Quentin de Kock can do. We know what David Miller can do. We know what Aiden Markram can do. So their batting is quite destructive on their day. Their bowling attack is quite capable of taking wickets. You've got Rabada, you've got Shamsi there, you've got Maharaj, Coetzee. He had a pretty good 50-over World Cup last year. Gerald Coetzee. Anrich Nortje can bowl pace. Marco Jansen can swing it with his left arm. So they've got a squad that's capable of competing and challenging and being able to make it to the Super 8s and qualify for the semi-finals and potentially a final. It's just that hoodoo that South Africa has, is that barrier of making it to a semi-final or a knockout and then crumbling under pressure. That's the problem that South Africa have. Whether or not South Africa have that in them, in terms of going all the way and that belief, I think it's a belief thing with South Africa. I think for them, it's all about just, let's not focus on what people are saying in terms of the choking tag. We're going to, stuff it up again and all this stuff. Let's just go out there and focus on what we can do, and that's play our best cricket that we can. Now, they're in Group D. Group D, they've got Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Netherlands, and Nepal. And you would think South Africa, on paper, they should win all those games, and they probably should top the group and qualify, really. Probably the one game that South Africa will be worried about is the game against the Netherlands. Obviously, the Netherlands have beaten South Africa twice in World Cups over the last couple of years. 50-over World Cup last year in India, and obviously T20 World Cup in Australia in 2022. So South Africa will be wary of that game, but they should do enough to qualify and make it through to the Super 8 stage and potentially the semi-finals. But it's that one thing with South Africa is the belief that we can actually do it. Can we actually, go out on top and actually win this tournament? Can we do it? That will be the big question for South Africa. Is that, do we have the belief? Can we, get the job done? That's the big question for South Africa going into this World Cup. I think, they should feature in the semi-finals, I think, but it's whether or not they're good enough to handle the pressure under pressure, and to, go through and win and get the job done. People will stop using the choking tag and they'll stop referring to it if South Africa win a World Cup. And so for the best way for South Africa to silence that is to win a World Cup. And they're more than capable of doing that. We saw in the 50-over World Cup last year, up until the semi-final where they got thrashed by Australia and lost quite badly. They were playing some good cricket, and then they fell at the last hurdle. So for them, this T20 World Cup, opportunity for these South African players to finally silence the critics and to hopefully win a World Cup for the first time. So it's going to be very interesting to see how South Africa go in this T20 World Cup, but they've got some capable players and a squad that can definitely challenge other teams in this T20 World Cup. Hi everyone, make sure you subscribe to the Dibbly Dobbly Podcast YouTube channel and click the bell so you don't miss out on all our episodes and live streams from the ICC T20 World Cup for 2024. If you're watching or listening to this episode on YouTube, let us know in the comments your thoughts on how South Africa will go in this ICC T20 World Cup for 2024. We would love to hear what you have to say.